Now, when it comes to Lil Wayne, well, if you are ready to see how yet another rapper has fallen off bad as well, now with Lil Wayne's very own fans, they have just turned on him in a way that has never been seen in the entire history of hip-hop from an artist's own fan base. Leave that like and subscribe because now really, the Young Money-fed frenzy fall-off has continued. And beyond Supac and Nicki. Well, saddest out of that trio, we are now seeing Lil Wayne go out worse than ever. And well, once again, I have to ask, as all three of these fan bases, or I should say what's left of them, don't want to hear about how bad this is getting. And really now for Wayne, see how the guy who started it all is about to quit rap forever. Make sure to leave that like, because we're going to need it as right now. Well, for Lil Wayne and the way we have seen his entire world flip upside down to a point that nobody would have thought it would have ever reached. Well, what I have to say, and I don't know how else to put this, throughout the entire 50-plus year history of hip-hop, we have never seen somebody of any stature near what we are seeing from Wayne here just go through something that is genuinely more shocking and also just awful and embarrassing. As let's just break down where this all starts to have a major arena tour, where people are lining up city to see you. And well, with this despite these people who are fans who presumably have been supporting you for years and years, giving the price of admission and getting tickets to see you, and the show will they just have ended up walking out. And this is not just a few people, but this is happening in massive packs like we are seeing right here. And so, listen, let's just break down this viral moment, which over everything has shown why Jay-Z never made a better choice by letting Lil Wayne nowhere near that Super Bowl halftime show. Which really with that, if you liked what Kendrick did and that all-time great performance, you should never be laughing more because you have never been proven more right of anything in your entire life. Because again, when you compare this to this, well, if you are supporting this, make sure to leave a like for that. And speaking of Kendrick, I will say while people stayed and watched Kendrick Lamar perform in his most recent tour in stadiums for hours and hours, even when there was rain and wind, and nobody complained once, because pure greatness was on display. Well, in comparison for Lil Wayne, who was in these nice indoor arenas with AC having all of these people run to the exits quicker than ever. I mean, once again, while Wayne and so many other rappers can cry, they have just proved why their reality is the way it is just by continuing to exist within this space and move the way that they thought was top-notch. And I will say before we get into looking at how bad the effects of what just happened with his own fan base really is for all the losers who tried to keep up this clearly performative grift of the narrative that Wayne deserved the Super Bowl, and Kendrick Lamar didn't, which I'm not going to go on a tangent, I swear, but this was just a rallying call for Drake to try and collectively cope with what was going down. Well, now ultimately we are seeing why Wayne performing at the Super Bowl would be like making DJ Academics run a marathon. Because really, look at what you're seeing on screen. As a performer, you know how bad you have to be to get all of your biggest fans in a specific city to come out and literally be playing for your crowd, which is your people and audience. And within that live performance, which again they paid the price of admission to be at, they just said, "Nope, this show is so bad that I'm going to walk out early again." And I am being so 100% serious when I say this. As somebody who has went to so many shows and who worked in touring and ended up seeing so many more shows from fan bases and artists that I would have never even engaged with had I not been literally working in an industry where I had to go beyond rap and see shows and acts from different eras and decades and walks of music that I would have never even thought of. Well, listen. No matter what, and from rap and tours that we have all seen to shows in other genres and from artists from completely different eras, this literally never happens to almost any single performer in their lifetime in any sort of environment that is filled with people who are directly supposed to be your fans. And listen, when we just process for Lil Wayne, the reason why this is, well, it's because just like the Carter 6 and this current era that Wayne has defined this sad fall off of his career by standing in, Wayne just has absolutely no idea how to appeal to his fans and, well, just anybody anymore for that matter. And well, now he is just aimlessly moving around in a place where it is just getting so sad and bad to watch. And it is really to the point now where he has lost so much goodwill even with his core fans that we are of course seeing something like this. And so now to once and for all figure out why Lil Wayne is speed running a destruction of his entire career and why he is literally about to be left with pretty much no fans. Well, first off, this is not just happening because his live rapping sounds so raspy and like he is struggling to even get the words out and is overall turning his classic songs into tragic live disasters. Because really, in the entire business of touring and live music, honestly, most of the performers are pretty atrocious, especially in rap in this era. And while generally, when you have fans coming to shows, they are inherently biased. That if they are just hearing songs they like and want to feel good about what they went to, they're just going to like the show no matter what. And so for Wayne, once again, this is why it is really showing how bad he has fallen and how bad this all is. And just to dig a little deeper, why this is all happening for Wayne is because on his current tour, Well, beyond his atrocious performing, the set list is so bad and just delusional and out of touch with what people want to see that it's probably going to end up being the last thing he ever does while he keeps this much of a fan base around left. Because seriously, with the way these people are moving, they are never going to come back to another show. And so, listen, let's just get into this. When you look at what Lil Wayne's concerts have become and what he is doing within these shows. Well, now while I tried to find a specific set list from the Detroit show where this video of people storming out went viral from, well, first off, when you actually try to find this, and again, this is a first for me looking and researching tours and big-name acts going on live. Well, seemingly these shows are so bad, and people want nothing to do with them all the way to the point that people are not even documenting the set lists. But now, if you scroll back enough and look at one of the first shows from this tour, you actually can find an actual list of the run of show from Lil Wayne. And well, what you can see with that is that right in the middle of the show, which really does define and hold performances together for the best acts in touring right now in rap. And if you have seen tours from Kendrick Lamar or Tyler the Creator, for example, well, you have seen how artists really space out and properly curate these experiences to engage fans throughout and make them want to stay till the very end. Well, now in comparison to some of these other tours, why Wayne is failing so bad is because he literally does quit rapping and shows how once again, he doesn't even want to be a part of hip-hop anymore, and he wants to be a rock star, and not a very good one at that. And between these weird rock features and songs that he has done that he plays to then just running through the awful records from the Carter 6. Well, overall, when you just see that this is what Wayne is asking you to sit through and stay for, and once again, this is pretty much a first for me. I would just walk out of this because seriously, not just is Lil Wayne a horrendous performer at this point in his career, but really now to not even put your best songs up and to force people to literally relive some of the worst music that you have ever made in your entire career, and you have released hundreds and hundreds of songs. Well, this is a combination like no other. And really for Lil Wayne, I think now with the way people are seeing how bad these shows are, and the venues are not even filling out, and the demand for these performances has reached an all-time low, well, with that on top of the Carter 6 flopping so bad that the record is not even on the charts anymore, and has not been for a while. Overall, we are just seeing this entire chapter for Lil Wayne exit him out of the rap game at one of the fastest and most shocking rates we have ever seen because compared to so many other rap rock bottoms, well, just seeing this level of delusion and out-of-touchness from Wayne, and well, at the same time as fans are running to the exits. Well, honestly, what the worst, and to me the most frightening part about all of this is that Wayne doesn't even realize that there is a problem or is trying to change things in the slightest to retain his core audience. And ultimately, when you just see this, and also see the team around Wayne, which is not the people that once were, and at the very least, even for Birdman competent people in terms of navigating the industry, and make sure you are growing your platform, which quick side, note you're done if your new team and management strategy is making Birdman look good. Well, speaking of these new managers, for these engineers turned leaders and team that is trying to just squeeze every last drop out of Wayne's value, regardless of what that means for his longevity and most importantly for hip-hop and his name legacy. Well, really with this entire moment of Wayne's fans walking out on him and turning on him like this, it really now is the final frontier of people just giving up on Lil Wayne for good and realizing that the icon that they once knew and idolized is gone. And well, in return, Pusha told us about this and warned Wayne about this on his track Infrared off Daytona, and well, now with Wayne. What I really do think is the ultimate telltale sign that will show that Wayne will never come back and that he will be cooked forever is the fact that when it comes to Wayne ever being able to try and get back on his feet and build any sort of a positive reputation again, well, you would think when a legacy act loses touch with new listeners and needs help to make a comeback. Well, this is when you would call on the artist who you helped pop in the first place, and well, if they were normal, they would be able to give Wayne the direction that he gave them all of those years back. But as of course in reality for Lil Wayne, his list of helpers consists of Tyga, who is on this tour with him, and Tyga could not even sell 10 albums if he tried in 2025. And then his other advisors would be Cupcake, Karen Drake, and Nicki Minaj. It's time to go, Wayne. It is time to pack it up because unless he is trying to figure out how to crash out more and just ruin his legacy and get into more drama and embarrassing situations, Wayne's got nothing. Which once again, jokes aside, this is just isolating him further and further into a place where he is going to be clearly irrelevant, and he is going to have one of the worst fall-offs that we have ever seen in the history of hip-hop. And now really what I will say to close this out is now, as recently the anniversary of the iconic collab, Forever, just went down. And well within that we have seen Drake of course crash out and lose everything after the beef. The guy who made Graduation just spiral out this year to an all-time low even for his standards. And well, now with Lil Wayne with this entire chapter with the Carter 6 and the tour going so bad, we're seeing him bow out. Well, listen, I hope Eminem can still keep his cultural card intact. But this song honestly must have a curse on it or something, because just to see all of these fall-offs happen the way we have. It really does seem like overnight when you just think about a record like this with these rap icons at one point to just become the losers that we are seeing right now. Well, it doesn't just feel surreal when you consider where they once stood in somebody like Lil Wayne's place. But it's honestly sad because as we are in an era where rappers have created a blueprint for how to have longer-lasting careers and legacies that will just keep giving and creating in the culture to just become so delusional to the point where your fans don't even want to support you, and every artist is done with you because of the temper tantrum you threw after the Super Bowl. Well, listen. While hip-hop has always been a genre filled with comebacks, for Lil Wayne and all of these other crashes who are a part of the song, well, listen, I don't think any of them are ever going to come back. And for Wayne to just fall off like this, it could not have gone out possibly sadder. And so now, with all this said, let me know. What do you think about Lil Wayne's failing tour and his failing rap career? And do you think there is any chance that things are ever going to get better for Wayne? Or do you think he's just going to continue to spiral out and lose everything without even realizing it in full? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all this. And if you made it to this point in the video, you know what to do. Be sure to leave that like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. Now, if you want to see how right before this, well, we just had another rap fall off and a career just go all over the place with Young Thug, who really just destroyed his entire life like Drake. Check out the suggested video.